City in the 2018 Green Party Annual National Meeting. My name is Brendan Phillips. I'm here representing the great state of Utah and the Green Party of Utah. We are here today to introduce the Green Party federal candidates for office. We've got a number of them. These folks have a really exciting opportunity ahead of them to affect change on the highest level of government in this country. And that means they'll get to fight for things like single-payer healthcare and combating U.S. imperialism. And these are some of the biggest issues our country's face. So these will be the faces of the Green Party that will help fight that. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to introduce them today. So I'm going to start by introducing our first candidate, who comes from the great state of California. His name is Dr. Rodolfo Cortes Barragan. He is running for the U.S. House, District 40. Come on up, Rodolfo.
Thank you so much for having me. Hello to everyone watching. Well, I am running in California's 40th Congressional District, which is East and Southeast Los Angeles County. This is an area that is heavily industrialized, heavily polluted. It's the most Latinx, Chicanx area in the entire country. And yet, our representative is not doing a good job for the community. We have so many families dying of cancer. We have seniors that are not getting their benefits. And this is because of the larger problem that we have, the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party in this area of Los Angeles County has been reigning supreme, unilaterally essentially, for 70 years. Our problems are due to the Democratic Party. It's not because of the Republicans, this and that. It's because the Democrats refuse to stand up to corporate interests, the polluters, the factories, etc. So what does this tell us? It tells us that, even though we're being taxed, we have no representation. The representation is fake. So that's why, the people, we as Green Party members and activists outside third-party leftist forces must, stand up against that horrible corruption that is killing not just people in our district, say, from pollution, but of course we're manufacturing, parts for planes, for the military-industrial complex, for nuclear weapons. And what's the use of that for our country? Our country is polluting the rest of the world. Our military, that it's the biggest source of pollution around the world. That's a problem. We should not be spending $700 billion during the Trump presidency to arm him with more nuclear weapons, etc. And yet that's what the vast majority of the Democratic Party, including my opponent, have been pushing for. We should not be pushing for, strengthening the power of DHS to really curtail Americans' rights and expand the power of ICE. Those are not things that we should be doing. Instead, we should be working towards a peaceful society internally, within the local community, at the state level, and at the level, at the world level. We need to push for world peace. We need to push for healthy local green economies that are sustainable and that really stand up against our main enemy, which is capitalism. Capitalism, that system of economic oppression that is extracting all the wealth from the workers. All the workers are having their wealth creation extracted and just given to a few people. That's the system of capitalism. Under socialism, eco-socialism of the Green Party, we have the real potential to save this world from utter destruction. Because let's not kid ourselves. This is a matter of life or death. We must become a carbon-negative economy immediately. It can't be, to the Democrats are saying 2050. No, that's not enough. That will ensure species destruction. We need a far more radical agenda to save the planet, to save ourselves. So thanks to everyone watching, and thanks. So very excited to it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Rodolfo. And like I said, Rodolfo is running in California. California is one of these states that has top 2 primaries. And what that means is all of the ballot qualified candidates go to a primary, and then the top 2 candidates in the primary go on to the general election. Rodolfo is running against a Democrat. It is him and the Democrat. There is no candidate on the right. So there's no spoiler myth here. So no one's got any excuses in California. Vote for Rodolfo. Thank you. So next up, we've got Joe Crain from Missouri. Come on up.
Hi, I'm Joe Crain, and I'm running for the U.S. Senate seat in Missouri against Senator Claire McCaskill. She is our current reigning senator in office there. Claire McCaskill is an extremely intelligent woman, and I admire her very much. And I see that some of the things she did, like the Pied Piper thing with Todd Akins in the last election, our the candidate for the presidential primary on the Democratic side did the same thing, only she brought us Trump. So somehow or another, this type of behavior escalating does not help us. We need to somehow rein this sort of thing in. What I'm asking for is for voters to have courage. I want voters to have courage to vote for people who have their interest in mind. I want people to realize that capitalism does not have your interest in mind. It has the bottom line interest in mind. So let's change that. Let's change that. Let's make the bottom line a thing that is where the hurt goes. If corporations hurt people, if they don't pay people enough to live on, that will be taken from their bottom line by the government, because the government has to feed those people, has to shelter them, has to provide health care for them. If a corporation takes a resource but does not provide for recycling, that should go on their bottom line, because the government has to do that cleanup. If a corporation takes a resource and they use it entirely and it cannot be recycled, that's a big, huge cost, and it should be treated as a big, huge cost. And if that corporation cannot afford to pay, then that corporation should die. And the people working for that corporation should have first right of refusal to have a worker-owned cooperative. If a corporation decides to put its efforts in a different country, fine. But the workers that were in this country, they get to have the first right to build a worker-owned co-op here in this country and keep that job, keep that product built in our country. We cannot go along as we have gone. We can't afford to give our credit to China. They've been really good in propping us up. And we also have a huge credit card debt. And we have student loan debt. That's what capitalism does. It says, I want to socialize